Yeah, we're ready.
Okay. So we will call this meeting to order at 6:30 p.m. And Wendy, are you able to do roll call?
I am. Councilmember Amsbury.
Here.
Councilmember Huff.
Here.
Councilmember Heller.
Here.
Councilmember Iverson.
Here.
And Mayor, would you want to make the announcement about Councilmember Blankenship?
Yes. So everybody saw, I believe he sent the letter to everybody today, all the council members, that he has resigned from city council, and our legal counsel has indicated that it is effective immediately based on the letter that we received. So we will talk a little bit more about that further down the agenda. Okay. I don't have any presentations. We are going to do an executive session, and it's with regard to union negotiations or labor negotiations per RCW 42.30.140. I anticipate this executive session to take 10 minutes. So Todd, what would you like me to do? Are we able to group us into an executive session? Do we have anyone else on the line, or do I need to hang up and dial into a separate number?
Yeah, there's other people on the line.
Pardon me?
There's other people on the line or in the meeting. Let me see if I can send out a new meeting. Meeting.
So ask you about that. I discovered that Zoom can do breakout meetings. I'm wondering if WebEx have that.
A breakout meeting.
He's reading it right now.
No, I'm looking for that word.
Discovered that. Really simplified things.
Yeah, I heard that they were trying to do court with Zoom. I read an article today and pros recommended somebody in the jury doing something.
Did you find it, Todd?
No, I haven't found anything yet. No.
You want to just call into cell phones? Like Jen will call into one and.
Yeah, I mean,
into
I have
another?
my cell phone. Maybe Joy can call Brenda and I can call Jenna, because I
Yeah.
have everybody's, unless you, either or's.
Yeah, we could do that. Do you want us to just call them, Todd? With our cell phones?
We could.
Okay.
Let's see. Let me have people dial into a conference line,
Okay.
Yeah.
because it's going to be me and Chris Coker and Jenna and all of you sitting there.
Chief wants that too, so.
And yeah, so let me give you the information. We can dial into my conference line unless the city has one. Does the city have one?
No, we don't.
Okay. All right. Hold on one second.
Ouch.
And I will give you one.
Executive session would be much easier for all.
Mhm.
Kind of figured that.
Okay, so how should I do this so that we know who's on the line?
I have my email if you're able to email it.
Okay, that's what I'll do.
I've got my email.
I'm going to email the number and the passcode to Chris. Are you able to get your email?
Oh, yeah, if Wendy's doing it, that's fine.
What's that?
If you call into the email or call into that link, we can all talk on one phone.
So I'm sending it to Chris, Todd, Wendy, Jenna, and Steve. Okay.
Okay, I'll be looking for it here.
Okay, I just sent it. So I'm gonna mute myself on this meeting and dial into this conference line from my phone.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, kinda, you broke up.
You will be placed on hold until a chairperson arrives.
The connection now, was Brenda gonna email email us something?
Yeah, she's emailing you the conference number for it.
All right, come on.
Oh, got it. Okay, all right, let me log in there.
Conference center. Please enter your passcode followed by the pound sign. Your passcode has been confirmed. Please wait while you are going to the
Chris is here.
technology is so awesome. It took us a little figuring, but you know, a few years ago, we couldn't have done that. Exactly.
All right, we're back. Yay!
What about Chris?
Is Chris out there?
I kicked him out because he couldn't, I wouldn't do this thing.
We'll let him back in again.
Well, as soon as he came back in,
Is Jenna out there?
yeah, she can call her too.
Hi,
I have her
Jenna.
muted too.
I'll make sure.
I think she can talk now.
All right, is everyone back?
Everybody but Chris.
Todd made him unwelcome.
Give him a minute.
There
There
he
he is. Yay! No man left behind.
I think he's on dial-up over there in Montana.
That might be true.
Poor Chris.
Really don't miss those days.
Dial it. I just got rid of CenturyLink.
Or they're on a horse going to the high point of the ridge to try to get out.
Get to where there's a signal.
Okay, Chris, can you hear us okay?
Did you turn him back on, Todd?
No, he should be. Yeah, he hasn't dialed in or nothing. He can chat, I think.
Okay, well, we're gonna proceed. And hopefully he can join in where we can hear him, especially if you have a question. But under tab A, we have the minutes from our previous meeting. Were there any questions, comments, or suggested changes or anything to those minutes, or we'd entertain a motion to approve the minutes?
I make a motion, we approve the minutes.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any question or discussion? All in favor of the motion on the table, say aye.
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 Any opposed by the same sign? And the motion is approved. Thank you. And I just realized that I did skip over our mayor comments and public comments. So let me just revert back to that. I apologize for that. I went right to the bolded tab A. So my apologies. Under mayor's comments, this is where I wanted to elaborate a bit more on our vacancy for city council. We received the notification from Councilman Blankenship that he is resigning from his seat, and that creates a vacancy on our city council. I talked with Chris today, our legal counsel, and confirmed with him the process for replacing and appointing someone to serve in that unexpired term. I wanted to talk to council tonight about that as well. So we have essentially 90 days to appoint someone to fill the unexpired term. And if we do not do that or take action within those 90 days to do it, then the job goes to the county commissioners and they would take the responsibility of appointing someone. So what I would like to hear from council is if you would agree with the process of past practice, which is we advertise that there's an opening and a vacancy on the city council and invite people that are interested to submit their expressed interest in writing to City Hall. And then at a council meeting, we can have those people join us and council can ask them questions after you've had the chance to review their information and their expressed interest in serving. You would be able to ask questions and get to know them a bit more. And then previous past practice has been that council would take some time in an executive session to discuss the various candidates and the strengths that they could bring to the council. And after that session where you can share your thoughts and insights on the candidates that you've met, then we would come back into council meeting and council could then take action to appoint someone to serve that vacancy. Do we want to follow that past practice or do we have any thoughts from council on another pathway?
I say we go that way.
It's worked in the past.
Okay. So Wendy, would you be the one to place the ad for this position, the opening and the vacancy?
Yes, I'll go ahead and prepare that and get it ready to send to the Daily World tomorrow. if I could run it 2 weeks, maybe 3, get candidates ready for the September meeting, if that works for everybody.
We also
Mhm.
put it on the
Yep.
city Facebook page.
Yes, we put on the city Facebook page, website, we'll get it out there.
Okay.
Karen.
And please include in that advertisement or whatever we want to call it, when the term expires, like how long they're committing to.
Yes.
I want that in there so people know what they are, how long the term is.
Next year, isn't it?
Correct.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, his is, yeah, December 31st, 2021.
Okay. All right, then, hearing no objections, we'll follow that practice, and hopefully by September's first meeting, we'll be able to meet candidates and make a decision and appoint that person. So, and if something runs amok, we still have October, like we're not pressed up against a deadline here. We've got some time. So thank you for doing that. Otherwise, in Mayor's comments, we have had a lot of good things happening in the city. We've seen a lot of our residents are genuinely trying to take care of their utility accounts with us. We had about 17 or 18 accounts that were in arrears to the point where they would have their utilities cut off if we were doing that right now. The overdue balances came to a total of around $13,000. Lorianne indicated that there were a couple of accounts that she knows will be settled up when property sales are finalized and so on. So I think it was around 11,000 of actual arrears that we're not sure about, or that potentially we don't know when that's coming. But overall, we've had really good participation from our city residents, and people are genuinely trying to do what they can to keep those accounts current. So very grateful to our community for that. All of you, I'm sure, have seen and heard the news about the Beehive now experiencing an outbreak of COVID-19 in their building. And then the press release recently where a staff member worked also at Pacific Care Center out in Hoquiam area, and they are experiencing some positive testing there. So the two outbreaks are kind of tied together in the press, at least. I'm not really sure how that all goes, but I've been in touch with the administrator at the Beehive. Their staff is doing the best that they can. They've been vigilant. I mean, this thing's been going on since February, and they've only gotten cases in the building now. So they've definitely been doing something right. And, people are on the move. They're mobile. Residents that are at end of life care, visitors can come in and see them. And staff, of course, go home every day and come back, and they're living their lives. And so I have to commend them. They've done a really good job. And this, this happening is not a reflection on what they did or didn't do right or wrong. It just happens. So we're trying to support them, make sure they have what they need. We have alerted our first responders across police department, fire department, volunteers, and all that, so that they are aware and can be mindful of how they respond, and that they take care when working with those residents and staff to, work with the protocols that they have in place, and to be respectful of what they're trying to do over there to mitigate this outbreak and keep it from spreading anymore. And then, of course, to keep it from being in the building at all again. So doing everything we can in that situation. We continue to see people out and about and moving, which is a good thing. We see a lot of people walking around during the day. We've got our sidewalk project going on right now. Some of you have probably seen that. They ran into some work that needed to be done underground before we poured those sidewalks. So we've been doing that, which added a little bit of time, the length of the project, but ultimately will be better for us to have that work done. And I appreciate the team that's been out there. Our public works crew has been working every day on that project, even in the heat, and just doing a fabulous job. So kudos to them on that for sure. And then city staff across the board continues to be here. They're making sure everything is operational. And I just applaud the team that we have here at our city. It's amazing to watch these people and the work that they do. And then one final note, we had an email today from Light and Power indicating that there will be a planned power outage in September, I believe September 26th. They're going to do it from 12:01 a.m. till about 7 or 8 in the morning. So it'll be while people are mostly sleeping. And it's an outage that Bonneville is actually doing, I believe. Todd, I think I have that right.
Yes.
And so, like, it's not our power outage, it's theirs. But so we're accommodating that. But our light and power crew will take advantage of that time to also get some work done that we need to do. So that'll be good that they've been able to collaborate on that and get that done. So just a heads up to you, and we will be getting that information out in the billing statements on the website and so on, just so everyone knows. And then Bryson, I want to give you the floor for a minute to talk about your cleanup day that's coming up. Do you want to share some information on that?
Yeah, so years ago, there was, I think it was called McCleary Cleanup Day, Community Cleanup Day, where people got together and they just went around town, they collected trash, pulled weeds, that kind of stuff, just to beautify the city. I'm trying to bring it back. I've gotten pretty good interest level on Facebook of people that would like to help out. So August 22nd, from 9 to noon, we're going to meet down at the park and spread out around town. And I put on there for people to bring their own stuff, so hopefully it doesn't get confused with the free dump day. That'd be neat.
Actually, they were asking at the museum last night.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
So yeah, just to stress again, it's not the free dump day, it's to help clean up and beautify the city. So people bring their own clothes, garbage bags, whatever they need to do different tasks. That would be great.
Awesome. And thank you for heading that up, and hopefully we'll have good success with it and lots of participation. So that's all I have for comments right now, for mayor comments. So we will move on. Is there any public comment tonight?
Brenda, I was gonna ask real quick. I was getting questions, and I really don't even know who's with Chamber anymore. Do you know if they're still planning on doing the citywide garage sale in September?
As far as I know, that event is still occurring.
Okay.
I don't know if we've heard from Simpson. I know they've been kind of the heart of that matter. Todd, have we heard anything from them if they're planning to do their?
I have not heard a word from anybody about the citywide cleaning or garage sale.
Okay. We'll do some checking on that, Bryson, to make sure. I'll ask the chamber, because they also, I think, create a map or something, and there's been different ones involved. So we'll see if their plans are still in place with that.
Okay.
I haven't heard of a cancellation from anybody yet. So we'll do some research and see what we can find out.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions? Any public comment? Todd, do you have anything in the chat or anything at all?
Question.
I have everything on mute, so.
Is there a committee or a city dump day set yet? Is there for that yet?
Right now it's planned for right after the garage sale weekend.
So the following weekend, like the 26th of September.
The following week, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Our hope this year, Joy, is to have dumpsters brought in for a whole week's period, and that way people could dump stuff throughout the week.
Mm-hmm.
And then have LeMay take it all away by that weekend or whatever. So we're working on that.
Okay, I'll let the museum know, because they were asking about it.
Okay.
Put that organ in there.
All right.
We
Any
can
other
put a dumpster
questions?
up there in the parking lot if you want.
We're trying to get rid of the organ up at the museum.
Is it that old pump organ?
No, it's a new little organ.
Oh,
We're
okay.
talking the old pump one, that's history, but there's a nice little organ up there that actually works, and nobody seems to
Oh.
want it.
I played that pump organ one year for Christmas. I went up there and went to the museum and played the pump organ and sang Christmas carols.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Well, this is a newer organ.
Okay. All right. Well, moving on. Tab B, accounts payable. We had vouchers and payroll for July 1 through July 1st through the 15th and July 16th through the 31st, and then the July payroll. Do we have any questions or comments, feedback, or we'd entertain a motion to approve the vouchers?
Move to approve. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any question or discussion? All in favor of the motion on the table say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by the same sign? All right, the motion is approved. Thank you. In tab C, we have the COVID expenditures. We continue to report out what we are spending on the COVID lines of our financials, and essentially under emergency operations, everything is COVID related, if that makes sense. Any questions or comments on that? Okay. Moving forward, tab D, we have staff reports, Public Works, the Police Department, Financials, Light and Power, the Building Department, and then a day or two after, we also sent you the Wastewater Treatment Center report. Our apologies that wasn't in the packet. He had sent it over and it got left out by accident. So my apologies for that. Any questions of staff with regard to those reports? Are there any staff that would like to add to your report or anything that you would like to clarify or make known to council?
Hey, Brenda.
Yes.
So Chris here, just we're getting some a new wave of public requests, and I just think it's good for the department heads to maybe, remind the employees that as a city, we have their privacy in mind, but that the way the rules are, a lot of things are disclosable that we would rather not disclose. So they just always need to keep in mind that maybe just a little talking to make sure that they know that, look, we're getting a lot of disclosure requests, and they really need to be aware of what they're putting out there on their work emails and things like that. I haven't seen any issues particularly, but it always worries me. So.
Sure. Okay, we can do that. And Chris, if you think that we should have a staff training on that, even a 30-minute, just a reminder of, texting and emails and everything that is discoverable, and to be sure that you're not doing any of your personal business on city stuff or any city stuff on a personal phone. And
yeah, it might be good to do that maybe as we get into the fall winter a little bit.
Okay.
Just because I just want to remind people, and I've been doing some work for Alma, and again, you guys, this city knows, McCleary knows well my position that I need to be convinced why we wouldn't disclose something, and I just think it's important that the staff and the employees understand, why that's my position, and it's really just to protect the city in general. So, yeah. Other than that, Josh and I have been in some contact regarding a nuisance property. And again, it's kind of similar stuff. She's not keeping up a yard. There's a bunch of garbage. And other than that, then Todd and I have a couple things going. Todd, we've got that latecomers agreement that we're going to have the developer put something together for us to take a look at. And so other than that, it's sort of standard things.
And were the Cedar Heights properties all settled in time? All that mowing got done?
They, as far as I know, it was fantastic.
Okay. Okay. All right. Any other staff? Chief, Wendy, Todd, anybody have anything to add to your staff report?
Jenna has a comment, and I'm not sure which
Oh, okay.
one.
Sorry,
Oh, there she is.
I'm out camping as well, so I don't have great signal. So that's why I finally was able to get some internet access, and then my call-in user too. I was still kind of in between. But
all good.
I was just trying to. I didn't get to vote on the last one. I had just for the claims
For the vouchers.
Yes, and I was just gonna comment on the $30,000 camera purchase, and I had just thought that it was going to be something around. I thought we had talked about 10,000 or something. So I appreciate Todd sending me the information. I just kind of wanted it on the record that I was not aware it was going to be as high as 30,000. So
Okay. Any other questions or comments from staff or council? All right. Thank you for that, Jenna, and we appreciate you making sure that we can get your voice in there. So, under tab E, COVID-19 update, this is a time where we're going to keep this on the agenda because I want to be able to share with council what's going on and sort of what's happening. As mentioned earlier, we have had an outbreak at the Beehive Retirement Center, and their staff is working to mitigate that and to resolve it. I want to commend their staff on the work that they've been doing to keep it out of their building for this many months and so on is wonderful. And I know that they are doing what they can right now. They're working with the county health officials and so on. So we're here to support them if they need anything. And in other areas of COVID, you know, we're seeing the case count go up. I believe Grace Harbor County is at 123 cases, or at least as of the last report that I saw. 3 deaths are attributed to COVID-19 in our county. So things are definitely rising here, and they're working to do what they can, you know, to get that number going back down again. We've all been asked across the state to wear cloth facial coverings in public, indoor and outdoor public spaces, wash our hands frequently, you know, get tested if you think you've been exposed or you're experiencing symptoms. If you're sick, stay home, and to still do the social distancing, and to really think about just staying home unless you really need to be out right now. That's the guidance that we've been given. And so hopefully if we can work together and see that happen across the county and across the state, hopefully we will see the numbers go back down. And the other thing that's happening right now is schools. Districts are trying to determine what they're going to do with the opening of schools this fall. Most of the districts and schools that I have heard from are starting completely online. I don't know that we've heard from McCleary just yet, or at least I haven't, but I don't have children in school, so maybe staff has heard. But the last I heard, they were also considering being entirely virtual to start the year off. So I don't know if anyone's heard otherwise.
That's what I was told,
Okay.
that they're starting online at the beginning.
Okay. So I think we'll see a lot of that across the state, and we just want to be mindful of that in our community, that we have families who are now homeschooling, working from home, and doing all kinds of things, you know, so just trying to remember our neighbor and to be generous and kind where we can, to, you know, understanding that people are dealing with things right now that we just never thought we would deal with. And it's been a time that could overwhelm some, could overwhelm many, actually. So just trying to be mindful of that. From a city standpoint, we continue to make sure that city employees have all the PPE that they need, that they have the supplies they need, that they are able to work safely. We're socially distancing people to the extent possible. We have PPE for when they can't be socially distant. We have processes in place to make sure that we are mitigating risk. We are staying in touch with our employees. We have invited them. You know, we have an open door policy that if they have a question or a concern or a need, that we want them to come and talk to us. We're doing the very best we can to keep our employees safe on all fronts, and we continue to do that. Our emergency operations team continues to meet on a weekly basis to assess our situation and to talk about things that we can or can't do. Our police chief continues to be the incident commander. He's in touch with John Taylor very frequently, the area commander that we are working with at Squaxin. And we also continue to be in very constant communication with the county and their area command as well. So I feel like we have access to good resources. We have a lot of very smart people who are way smarter than me working on this thing, and I'm grateful. And we are just working with them and trying to row in the same direction so that we can have positive outcomes from this. So any questions right now or concerns about the city's response to COVID? All right, moving on then, tab F, the Eddie Byers kitchen sign. Bryson, I'd like to give the floor to you to talk about this.
Yeah, back before COVID came out, Wendy and I, after we voted to approve renaming the park kitchen in honor of Eddie, had reached out to a couple metal workers in the area and got some designs and quotes back from them. One of the quotes is from Hanson Metal Works here in McCleary, and it's a 4 by 8 foot sign. 1/8 inch steel is 400 and 1/8 inch stainless steel is 600. It's got a pretty cool design, I think, with the barrier, the trees, the mountain there, and then the oval. The other one is a guy that Ben told me about, and he's out in Mason County. Size wise, he's pretty close to what Tyler quoted or drew up for what he thinks would look good on the front of the kitchen. Attached with Mark's proposal, there's a variety of different options I copied out of his design book. My favorite, I think, has to be with Mark. And it's going to be on the first page of the blue highlight, the top right corner. I really like the saw blade with the barriers, the trees, the hills. I think that incorporates everything with McQuarrie. That's kind of my vote price wise. It's about the same price, about the same size as the other quote. Mark's doing his pretty much as a donation to the community. Just charging material only. And then his quote's only good for 30 days and he's at 500 for that sign. And then there's a couple other options within his bid for council to look at. The one I'm leaning to, like I said, is the first one that he submitted, that Mark submitted, which is the saw blade with the barrier of the trees.
Will it say Eddie Byers Park on it?
Yeah, well, not the part, it'll say anybody's kitchen.
On that kitchen?
Yeah.
And so where the welcome is that where it will say it? Or?
Right.
I like that one the best too.
So, Jared and Jenna, what your guys' thoughts are?
I'm kind of leaning towards the horizontal post, but if the rest of the council is going to open saw
What's the
blades, we'll go
horizontal?
with saw blades. So, page two, I would say the first one that you highlighted there, so S1.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I think that they all look nice. As long as it's got the bears on it, I think that, I'm fine with whatever.
Yeah.
I like the saw blade because that's what we are. I mean, we started out as, cutting trees.
Right. Do you like the blue one? Okay.
Which one, Karen?
What's
It's on
next, second page?
Oh, okay.
So I know Mark is still building his shop. I think he's close to being done with building his shop. And so once I put the order in, he does say on there that there's maybe a delay for him to get the sign made.
Well, nobody's really using the kitchen right now. So
Right.
okay.
Right. So if we're all good with the first one, his submission with the saw blade and bears and trees, I think that's the one we should go with.
And it's smaller, it's 3x4, right?
Or 4x4.
Or 4x, but it's
Yeah.
not 4x8, it's huge.
Yeah. And he thought the 4x4 would look good there, because it's just gonna go right over the entry. The open part.
Yeah, when you walk up to from the
This end?
parking lot, the A part.
Yeah.
At this end,
Yeah, where the picnic tables are, that's where it's gonna go over.
okay.
So,
Once you get a 4x4 up there, it's gonna look small, by the way, just to let you know.
oh, is it?
Yes.
But a sheet of plywood would look huge.
No, it's
No,
minimal.
it's gonna look small.
Yeah, well, the sheet of plywood probably look kind of,
How big is that apron? The bottom of the apron?
well, 30 feet, 40 feet across.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big wall. Big area.
Do you think the 4x8 would look better then?
Yes.
Okay.
I think so too.
Okay.
Is this the only?
But I'm with Jenna. I don't have strong feelings.
Well,
It's big.
Wendy had been in contact with Tyler more than I had. He's open to adjustments on his design?
Yes, yeah, he said he would.
Oh, so if we showed him this picture, he could do something like this with a larger sheet.
Yeah, I bet if you wanted him to do the saw blade instead of the solid, I bet he could incorporate that.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, that would do.
yeah, if he can do that and then still have everything else there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good with that. Like I said, price wise, they're pretty much the
Yeah,
same,
they're
so,
comparable.
yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of material would you want?
So Tyler's is 1/8" steel for 400 or 1/8" stainless steel.
Okay,
For
8"
600.
stainless steel won't rust. The other one will rust, so you might have an option.
So pay the extra 200 so that it doesn't wear out.
Yeah, or if you wanted just like a metal looking sign, that would be the stainless steel one. If you wanted the metal sign that you can want it powder coated to a different color, like a green or whatever, that would, you'd get the $400 one.
Okay.
Oh,
How much do you think it would cost to powder coat?
Maybe $100.
Yeah, okay.
So
Then we wouldn't be worried about rust or anything like that. It'd go for a while.
but the stainless steel, you said wouldn't rust out.
Right.
I think the green would be pretty.
Do you think, would you go powder coat top like the black? I'm just trying to think how easy it would be if the stainless steel on that tan went too much.
yeah, I mean, we could always paint that background black behind it too, that we hang it up on.
Or
Okay.
dark green.
Yeah, or dark green, or yeah, you can have an accent fill in the background to
Okay.
make it pop.
All right.
I've been watching Too Many Home stuff. Home
Yeah.
Alone.
So Bryson, you have what you need to, you know, when you want, and we give you license to get the right size and everything to fit the space. Does that work?
Yeah, so I think we'll probably go ahead with Tyler with the modification of having the saw blade.
Probably.
Then my other thought with that is once Tyler gets it done, I was thinking it might be good to have Eddie's family who was here for the night we did the ordinance
Yeah.
or the
Grand opening.
naming of it, to have them come down and see it. Maybe we could do like an unveiling of the sign once it's up on the building or something.
Be happy to do that. Yeah, we can do an unveiling.
So, okay,
Refreshments, cookies.
Cigar.
All right.
all right, thanks. Yeah, well, Wendy, do you want to help me get hold of Tyler?
Yeah, I can take care of it tomorrow if you want me to.
Okay,
Talk tomorrow.
Beer and hot dogs.
all right, there you go.
Okay.
Soda for me.
Thank you for doing this, Bryson, and getting all the research and everything. We appreciate it very much.
All right, thanks.
Okay, tab G, our bond ordinances. We have, well, tabs G and H are both ordinances with regard to the refinance that we're doing. These bond ordinances are very boilerplate language. They are necessary for the refi that we're doing. We tried to get them to you as quickly as we could prior to council, but we were waiting on the final documents from the bank once they had gotten all the edits and changes made based on their attorneys and the bank attorneys and so on. We sent them over to Chris Coker. He has reviewed them. Chris, do you have anything that you want to add or say about them?
No, you know, I talked to Brenda earlier about this, and I really want the council to know that the bonding things they're actually one of the few things that I specifically put in our contract that says I'm not going to be involved with, because it's a very unique niche, and you either do bonding stuff or you don't do bonding stuff. So I reviewed it sort of for my own. I guess it'd be pretty disturbing if I said for my own pleasure, but for just to kind of be able to look at what they're doing. And I think it's all very structured. It's like language when you're buying a house. You're sort of signing off on those things that at the end of the day, you have to trust the experts. And I have absolute faith in Cale Gates and the bank. You know, the bank's going to dot its I's and cross its T's. And so at the end of the day, the main thing is the documents look like we're getting the bargain that we think we're getting, which is going to save over time the city a lot of money. So just so everybody knows, I have little, if any, experience in the bonding field, but from what I've seen, everything looks copacetic for sure.
Okay, thank you. And like I said, the bank worked with an attorney firm. It's not like they just made these up and sent them to us. And they do these all the time. And like Chris has mentioned, it's very boilerplate language. It's very typical. And if memory serves, Todd, when we originated the first loans, we probably had to do something like this as well at that time.
Yes,
So,
yes.
so did anyone have any questions or comments, any concerns about this? We do want to invite council's feedback if you have any. Okay. So hearing none, Wendy, do you have numbers for these ordinances? Are they
Yes,
on there?
this ordinance for the 50,000 would be ordinance 856.
So that would be the tab G ordinance.
That is correct.
Okay. So, Chris, am I at liberty to say we'd entertain a motion to adopt this ordinance at this time?
Yes, and then it'd be a roll call, just like a standard ordinance.
Yeah. Okay. So any questions, comments, feedback, or we'd entertain a motion to approve ordinance, I'm sorry, was it 856, Wendy? Is that what you said?
Yes, 856.
Okay.
I make a motion that we approve ordinance 856.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any question or discussion? All right, all in favor of the motion on the table? Oh, no, sorry, roll call vote, please. Wendy, would you? Sorry about that.
Councilmember Amesbury,
Yes.
Councilmember Huff,
Yes.
Councilmember Heller,
Yes.
Councilmember Iverson,
Yes.
All right, thank you. The ordinance is adopted, ordinance 856. So under tab H, the water sewer bond ordinance would be ordinance number 857, is that correct?
correct.
Are there any questions, discussion, or we'd entertain a motion to approve ordinance or adopt ordinance 857?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Could we get roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Amesbury,
Yes.
sorry.
Yes.
Councilmember Huff,
Yes.
Councilmember Heller,
Yes.
Councilmember Iverson.
Yes.
Thank you. Ordinance 857 is adopted. Thank you very much, council. Tab I, the Grace Harbor County Solid and Hazardous Waste Management Plan.
Little
This
light
was-
reading.
Sorry.
A little light reading.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I sent this out to council a while ago so that you would have it. I think as soon as we got it from the county. And, you know, if there's any feedback, I'm happy to hand it on to them. But I feel like this is one of the situations where it's really more of a formality that they need every city to adopt it, that we're going to abide by it. We're part of it. But if there are questions or comments, you know, I'm happy to pass those along to the county. If council's not ready to take action until we get feedback from the county on any questions or comments, we can also do that. So I'm going to open the floor for any questions or comments or discussion about this waste management plan. I truly hear crickets.
Well, Todd is bringing us some interesting pictures here.
Oh.
Now cracking.
Oh, okay. So no questions, comments, concerns, or anything? I didn't have any, but I just want to make sure that council had opportunity. If council's ready, we would entertain a motion to approve it so that I can send that back to the county. If council's not ready, that's fine too. You can let me know.
I really only have one question. And that's just because I drove by it yesterday, so I just want to know what's going on with it. But our glass drop-off location, is that still open? Because it didn't really look like it.
As far as I know, it's still open over there.
Okay.
Is that the one over by the bus area? That
Over in the
Yes.
park ride.
yeah. Okay.
I hear people throwing bottles and everything, and it looks every once in a while.
Yeah, there was just like some parts or something over part of it, so I just wasn't sure if our glass part was still usable or not. It could have.
Maybe somebody was drying out some tarps.
I don't know. Yeah, that was literally my only question, to make sure that we actually still had one.
Yes.
It's still operational.
We'll have Chief go check it out and see if people are living underneath the park.
I don't
Make
think
sure
so.
no one's sleeping under there. Yeah. Any other questions, comments, or discussion, or a motion?
I'll move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any question or discussion? All in favor of the motion on the table, say aye.
I,
Aye.
Any opposed by the same sign? And the motion is approved. Thank you.
Can I add, that would be resolution number 732 for the record.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
That's all right.
Thank you for doing that. We'll let the county know that we adopted the resolution and get that back to them quickly. So they'll be very happy with us, I'm sure. All right. Any other comments from council?
Just a couple things. Last night, Karen and I met with the Civic Renewal Council for the Public Works Committee that we're on.
Our inaugural meeting.
Yeah, it was our first meeting. It went well. I think it was about a 2-hour meeting that we had in the park, and went over different ideas. Discussed what Jaron presented on through the Chehalis Basin Project.
Yep.
And make sure I'm saying that right. I call it wrong every time. And anyways, we talked about that. We talked about the vision for the downtown core for businesses. Sidewalks out on Summit Road. That came up. And then essentially the 6-year street plan from the last meeting was asked about. And then we informed them about the new sidewalks and other improvements going in at the park. And so they have some good ideas that they're trying to work on. They're really interested in keeping these meetings, however frequently we have them going, and making sure, you know, the council, the city, the Civic Renewal Council, they're all on the same page and we're all working towards the same common goal for McCleary. We did advise, you know, that they do come to a meeting now and then, just so at least all council can hear what their ideas are. They have a presentation at some point in time that they'd like to give. So I'm hoping that once we're able to have the community back in on the meetings, then we can schedule that for them to come present. That Chris, I believe, has put together. Is there anything else you want to add on that?
Yeah, we did also discuss an idea that I'm not quite ready to present to the rest of council yet, so I haven't fully fleshed out yet, but a strategy for removing invasive species, plants specifically, not animals, not
Not me.
looking
For
for
people, not animals or people.
Yeah, knotweed, morning glory, Scotch brew.
Tansy.
We didn't discuss tansy, but sure. Add that to the list.
I pulled that as a kid.
Himalaya blackberries, all the fun ones that we see all over the place. So
You can start right next to my driveway.
so we were kind of brainstorming just a way to get a volunteer program put together to make it so it's not really the city taking on the burden, city employees taking on the burden, but getting the entire community involved in the project and getting some interest in that. So hopefully we'll have something a little more formal put together in the near future that we can present at a future council meeting. The other thing that came out of that meeting though was just a request for an update on the swings.
On Dustin's swing set.
It's on the list. We're gonna try to do it this fall.
Okay.
You've heard that question once or twice, right, Todd?
Just a few times.
We attempted to do it in the spring and we just ran out of.
Jaron, our answer for everything is COVID.
That was actually my response as well.
We would have put the swings up, but COVID.
Yeah, there you go.
So, no, I think at this point we're waiting for the sidewalks and everything to get done, and then we'll be able to move forward. So, all right. Any other questions from council or comments from council?
Yeah, I got one more. Sorry. Have you heard back yet from the advocacy group or the sheriff's department on the banners on where they need to be returned to?
So I had an email back from the undersheriff, is that his title, indicating that that's not their banner, quote unquote. Like, I guess the banner belongs to some group and not particularly to the victim. So they couldn't use the victim's advocate group to contact them about it because it's not her sign.
Can't you just take it down and have somebody pick it up?
Well, that was his suggestion to me, was that, well, you could just take it down. I'm sure you'll get a call.
Yeah,
I decide if I want to get that call.
It's on city property and
Those are good.
it's on city property, and I think that we should take it down, roll it up, and then if somebody wants it, they can come pick it up.
Yeah. And I let him know that we do still have the one hanging on the police department right now. It's still hanging on the exterior of the police
They're both on
department.
city property, and I think that we should take both of them down, and I think we should roll them up. I don't think it's appropriate that those be up any longer. We have the memorial,
Right.
and that's permanent, and that's not coming down. I think both of those, I'm sorry, but I am hearing too much about these banners in town, and people don't like to,
When you go to the park and you see that.
and there's children playing there, you
It's,
know. So I think we should take them down. They're on city property. If somebody asks, say, well, we took them down, you're welcome to pick them up.
Any other thoughts from council?
I totally agree with Joy. I mean, something I was kind of thinking of last night, and I was looking through the city website, and I didn't see anything pertaining really to signage on city property or right away. As far as banners and that stuff go, but I got word, I think it was last weekend, that someone had made an even bigger banner than the Who Murdered Me one hung up at the park for donating to a pet fund. And then that one was removed, I guess. But I would like to see if we're gonna start having more of that.
Yeah.
Maybe
That's ordinance.
I don't know, like a approval process, I guess,
Yes.
where someone comes in the city hall, says this is what we want to put up, and then after so many days, it has to come down. If it's not down, then the city takes it down and then charges a small fee for taking it down. But then we get back their sign. This is kind of my thought process.
I agree. I think we should.
This sounds like a great topic for a committee.
So
The ordinance review committee.
Yeah.
there you go.
But I think for right now, I think it's time for that sign to come down,
Right.
but maybe tomorrow morning.
Okay.
I'm sorry, it's just not appropriate. And like I said in my email, if anybody does know anything, either they're not telling or they don't know. You know, I mean, it's been 11 years. If there's new information out there, somebody's not going to drive through town and say, oh, I know all about that. I think I'll call the police. Not gonna happen.
Right. Well, I mean, and on that note, I kind of wanted to add to that. I think whenever we get a chance to get to the city website, at least move the reward information stuff to maybe the police tab. That way, it's not one of the first things you see on the city homepage.
I did not know that was on the city homepage.
Okay.
But, that's just, I mean, that's my opinion. I mean, not to be cold hearted about it, that's not it at all, but
It's 11 years
it's,
old.
yeah, it's 11 years old, but when people come into town and they want to stop and have a picnic at the park or take their kids down there to play, nobody wants to see a Who Murdered Me banner hanging up. And so.
Okay. We can accommodate that. I believe Todd, would one of your crews be doing that, and then we can hand it off to Chief to hold at the police department until someone claims it?
Yep, we're gonna get everything.
Okay.
And the one on the police department too. I think all those banners need to come down. It's not a new thing.
And the one on the police department, we do have, we've already communicated with the sheriff, and they will be able to communicate with the family when that one's coming down permanently. So Chief can follow up with Sheriff Scott on that, because we had already let the sheriff's department know that at some point it would be coming down. And
They
they
will
will
come down together.
communicate to the family on that one. So, all right. Any questions? Anything else?
I don't know how I really feel.
I think that was it for me.
Okay.
Here's this.
Just two other things I thought of briefly. We are installing a ballot box here in town. The county sent us a ballot box to have installed. And so that is in the works. I don't know if it's been completed yet. We had to pour a concrete pad for it, which then had to set and so on, but that's being installed.
It's
And then, is it already there? Awesome.
Yeah, got to see the county to come look and verify it's.
Okay.
Standard.
Did you call him, Joe
Yes, McLean.
McLean? Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Awesome. So by our general election in November, you'll be able to toss your little ballots in there. It'll be great. And then also just a reminder on September the 19th, that Saturday, which is also the community garage sale, but there's going to be the bike ride, the Tour de Wellness that Summit Pacific is hosting. And I'm planning to ride from McCleary to Alma. Got my bike, I'm training, got my helmet and all that. Asked for my birthday last week. I asked for all new equipment, like a cell phone holder and a bottle holder and all that. So I am ready to go. So if anyone wants to join me on that bike ride, more than welcome. And they're also still looking for volunteers if anyone wants to volunteer to help along the route. So hopefully we'll have a good show for that. But anyway, I don't have anything else to share or comment at this time. The only other thing that we do have to ask council is whether you would like to have a second meeting in August or not. Our current schedule is that we are not having one. We are on our summer schedule. But if you feel like we need one, we can schedule one and put notice out about it. So that is the last and final question I have for you all.
And I think we're good on the summer schedule unless you guys or Todd have anything you seen. No, I vote we stick with the summer schedule.
I have one more suggestion though. I think that this room is plenty big enough for all of us to meet if we just push the tables towards the walls. I don't think we need to go back to the community center for these meetings. You know, until the public is here, and that might be a different matter, but while we're not having public here, this room is big. I mean, we're spread out right now, and if we push back against the walls, all of us could be spread out enough that I think this room is plenty big enough, and it's easier for Todd and for Wendy.
Okay.
So
any opposition to sticking to summer schedule?
Nope.
Okay, hearing none, we will stick with our summer schedule. So our next meeting will be the first or the second Wednesday of September. And then, yes, we can meet in council chambers. Chris, I don't know if you've heard any more about the OPMA, but right now it's, I think, through August 31 or September 1 or something. So we will be watching that. And if by chance the public is able to attend a meeting in September, then we would definitely go to the community center. So
Yeah, I think it was extended in October.
oh, was it? Okay.
I think it might have been
3 months.
That's
They've
what
been
I
going month to month. I don't know why the legislature's doing that, but
yeah, I don't know. It's at least August 31st. So
okay. Yeah, we'll watch it. And if we're still meeting in this fashion where the public has to join via WebEx or phone, then we can meet in council chambers. I have no problem with that either.
Yep. Okay.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful night and enjoy the rest of the week. And we will see you around.
Yep. Have a good evening.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Did I sound real grumpy? I'm sorry.
Should have heard a few of us talking about it yesterday.
Oh, well, then I didn't sound so grumpy. It needs to come down.